Good afternoon or good evening, Black and Married with Kids. I am so excited to be with you guys again on an amazing Monday here on Black and Married with Kids. So thank you so much for being with me tonight. I am so honored to be here, and I want to thank Lamar and Ronnie for having me on here. Hi, how are you guys? As you guys are chiming in, definitely comment below your city and state and where you're from. I'm so excited, like I said, to be here to really discuss three ways to rid yourself of a hard heart, okay? And before I get into this discussion, I want you to comment below your city and state so I know that your comments are actually working, because every time I go live, every Monday night, we have an amazing time in our comment section where I answer you all's questions. I look at your comments and what you're saying, because I like to have a dialogue, not only just teaching you guys, but also have a conversation as to what I am talking about as well. So comment below your city and state so I make sure that I can actually see what you all are doing. If this is your first time joining me, my name is Arielle Fuller. I'm the co-owner with my mom of Dunamis Women Enterprise, where we guide women of faith on how to heal within their soul, transform their life and relationships through the power of God. And so we really teach a lot of kingdom teaching, healing of the soul, and prayer so that women can transform their life and relationships and uplift the men in their life as well. So I am so excited to be with you guys to come on this topic, because as we here at Dunamis Women Enterprise help women heal within their soul, part of that is really getting rid of this hard heart. Hi from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Thank you. I see you all's comments. Hey, Carlene, how are you? Hi, Alicia from Florida. Nice to meet you guys. Okay, I see you guys. Your comments are working. So thank you so much for commenting down below. But this is such a huge topic, and so I want you all to not just comment below before I get started, but I want you guys to share this on your page, because there are so many women and men, I'm not going to dismiss men from this conversation tonight, that have a hard heart. And if you notice, I did not put a hard heart in marriage, a hard heart towards men, a hard heart in relationships, because a hard heart necessarily affects every other aspect of your life. And I started to be very specific tonight, but then I said, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to scale back, because when you have a hard heart, period, it affects your relationship with Christ. It affects your relationship with your siblings. It affects your relationship with your family members. Everyone around you gets the brunt of your hard heart. And this is the season where we really need to start working through. Hi from Chicago, Maryland. Hi, Linda. Hi, Denise. To start breaking through some of these things, you all, because walking around with a hard heart is not good, all right? So before I get started, comment below I want to know who I'm talking to. If you have had a hard heart before, okay, comment below, I have. If you have not, comment below, I have not. I want to know who I'm talking to tonight. So if you currently have it right now, put I have, all right? I want to make sure that I'm talking to some people who have had a hard heart. Hi, Millie. Hi, Amitra. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Nikki. How are you guys? So comment below. All right, Tanisha, thank you for your honesty. You have. Hi, Juliet from Louisiana. Nikki, you have not. Okay, so this is good. And this is the reason why, Amitra, you said you have. Because I want you to know, even if you haven't, when you're dealing with someone that also has a hard heart, because you can be in a relationship with someone that has a hard heart and you don't know what to do. You don't know how to maneuver. And if you're on here tonight and you said you have, hopefully these tools will help you get rid of the hard heart that you have right now within your life. Thank you, Darren, for your honesty. I still do. Millie, yes. Tara Shell, you have. All right. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to give you guys these 3 nuggets. As you always know, we have a good time in the conversation. So comment below any thoughts that you guys have, and I want to answer those. Thank you, Jamie, for being honest. You fight every day to keep it soft. And I hope this helps you tonight. So make sure you feel free to comment down below. If you have not shared this on your page, share this right now, because I'm not going to have time to remind you while I'm doing some teaching. So make sure you do this right now and share it, because some people need to hear this. All right. So 3 ways to rid yourself of a hard heart, if you currently have it, or if there's someone that you know that has a hard heart. The first thing, when I have experienced my heart being hardened, first off, let me put this disclaimer. Life is going to give us different roller coasters and different blows that are going to happen within our life. And that's expected. I think oftentimes we want to go throughout life and we think that life is just going to be easy and that it's going to be made for us. And that is not the way that life is set up, all right? Life has many tests and trials and hills and bumps and roads that we're going to have to go through, that we have to figure it out. And so the thing is that you did not ask for the life that was given to you. You did not predestine or request the life that in the path that God has pushed you on necessarily in this season of your life. But the important thing that you have to do, even though we didn't ask for it, what we have to do is we have to keep ourselves in a posture, in a position to maneuver through where we need to go to get to our set destiny. And so when I'm talking about 3 ways to rid yourself of a hard heart, what you're doing when you continue to have a hard heart is you're stumbling and stagnating yourself, that is hindering you from getting to where you necessarily want to be. And so as I give you all these 3 strategies and these 3 tips tonight, it's going to let you know that no, life was not promised to be easy. We did not ask for the life that was given to us, but what we do have control over is how we maneuver throughout life and how we continue to fight throughout life, because we have to serve life and not let life serve us. And oftentimes when you get a hard heart, that's because you are now allowing life to serve you and you're not serving life. And this can happen because we get hurt in relationships. We get hurt in our marriage. We get hurt from, job opportunities, things being lost. Really, a hard heart all starts with hurt. Hurt from some shape, form, or fashion that comes into our life. And so this is so important that you realize this, because people always say to me, Ariel, how do you keep an open heart, especially towards men? When I've been hurt and rejected in so many different areas. And the first strategy that I'm going to give you, all right, comment this down below, is 1, you have to stay in a posture of humility. Someone comment down below, humility. In order to rid yourself of a hard heart, you have to always stay humble. Humility is the best thing that softens your heart. What do I mean by humility? The first thing is we're all human. Life does not owe you anything. Life does not deserve to treat you differently than anybody else. And so when you get a hard heart, what that's doing is that's causing you to be prideful, to say that I deserve something better, that I deserve life to just hand me exactly what it needs to be, that I expect God to meet all my expectations. You get haughty in yourself because you don't understand why these trials and tribulations or these tests are coming your way. So humility keeps you in a state of understanding that you're human, that you have to be softened, that you have to be go through some of these things, because that's the beautiful part about being human. Yes, you were forced to eat a part of the humble pie. And so when you understand that you're human, you also understand that everyone else around you is human as well. See, when I used to get a hard heart towards men who used to reject me in certain areas, I had to realize where they were in their development, in their stage of life, because they're human. See, when you put your expectations on people, you're going to get hurt every single time. But see, the beautiful thing about keeping your heart soft is that you don't put your expectations on people, you put your expectations on God. Because when you put your expectations on people, they're going to hurt you every single time, because we are human. And so when you keep yourself in this state of humility, you realize that not only are you human, but everyone around you, the spouse that you're with, the husband that you're with, your children, your boss, your coworkers, everyone around you is human. And that they're learning and they're growing and they're going to make mistakes. And if they are of ill will and evil, it's because their heart isn't where it necessarily needs to be. So 1, you have to understand that humility teaches you that everyone is human. Another thing that humility, when you get yourself in a state of humility, it lets you know that 1, hearts, I firmly believe this, and you could say, Ariel, I think you're wrong, and y'all can comment below, I'm wrong, okay? But I have come to a posture of understanding that hearts are meant to be hurt. I know that sucks, but hearts are meant to be hurt. Do you know why? Because when your heart is hurt, it keeps you humble. If your heart has never been hurt before, if no one has ever hurt your heart before, imagine how prideful this nation would be. Hurt comes to humble you. Hurt comes to keep you in a posture of knowing you can't do this by yourself. And I firmly believe that we were given a heart that was not necessarily, I'm not going to say hurt is not abuse. There's two totally different things, all right? When someone abuses you, or when someone actually demeans you and really, demasculates or really hurts you, especially for men, that is not what I'm talking about, a hurt heart. Abuse is not really a form of hurt. That's hatred. But your heart was meant to be hurt. It meant to be plied and told around and teared around a little bit so that you can stay in this humble state. Because it matures you, yes, Jamie, and teaches you how to love like Christ. And so your heart, things had to come in your life to hurt your heart so that you can stay humble and go to the next point that I'm going to give you. So comment below humility, okay? Because humility is so important that when your heart is getting hard at this standpoint, ask yourself, how can I humble myself? How can I get myself in a posture of staying humble in my life to know that everyone around me is human and that I got to now position my energy and my focus into something else instead of being so consumed with myself? All right? Because this is so important. So the first thing is you got to stay humble, okay? The second thing is that when your heart is humble, what that does, when you allow yourself not to be so prideful and thinking that everyone owes you something and thinking that, and I'm not going to say people owe you something, but you put your expectations so much on other people. When you humble your heart, what that does is it opens up your hearing. You can be able to hear clearly as to what it is that's going on around you, and not only hear what your heart is telling you to do, but you hear the voice of God of the things that you need to be instructed to do in this season of your life. See, when your heart is hardened, you also close off your ears and you ignore hearing everything else because you get so consumed with yourself. So comment below, hear. You need to hear. When your heart becomes humble and you walk in humility, what it does is it opens up your ears. And now you can hear the instructions of things that you need to do to obey. That's like when it always tells us to love on our enemies. See, oftentimes we don't like to love on our enemies. But the only way you can love on your enemies is by allowing your heart to be open. When a man, and I'm just using men for example, but and anyone could hurt me, but when I have gotten hurt by an individual, there were certain things that I need to say. There were certain things that I need to do. But because I was so caught up in my pride and my hurt, I disobeyed and I didn't say certain things or I didn't do certain things. This is for my people who say they're not dealing with this, but if there's someone in your life that has a hard heart right now, your ear has to be open and keen to hear the instructions on how to love on them the way that they shall be loved. Let me give you guys a real example of this, okay? I have a mentee that I love, so near and dear to my heart. And so she had difficulties with her parents, with her mom. And her heart became very hardened towards her mother, where she just was a very bickering and attitude and arguing and all these different things. See, because relationships are not just between men and women. When your heart becomes hardened, you start getting tension when it comes to relationships with other people. And so she started having a lot of argument and irritation and lashing out because her heart was hardened because her mom wasn't loving her the way that she necessarily knew that she should be loved, okay? And so one thing that I had to teach her in a strategy is I said, one, you have to humble yourself to not just see your mother as the mother, but you also have to see her as where she is in this position of her life. Maybe she's not as mature as the woman that you want her to be. Maybe she's hurt in her little girl areas that she didn't know how to love you as a daughter. So you got to humble yourself. Even though you are the child, you have to humble yourself to see where she actually really is at this standpoint of her life. And that was hard for her because she was like, this is my mama. She's supposed to love me. Why I got to humble myself and be nice to her? But her heart was so hard towards her that she had to humble herself. So as I gave her strategies to humble herself and see her mother not just as the mother, but as a woman, maybe a broken little girl, then now I had to give her strategies and things to say so that she can hear on what to say to her mother when her mother was in an uproar, when her mother was having tension, when her mother was having arguments. I had to give her the words to say with specificity to her mother to be able to reach her mother's heart. If you guys are following along with me, say I'm following, okay? Because this is a real story that I'm trying to give you guys a picture of this, and I'm taking it out of this relationship man and woman because this is our relationships. And so if she kept her heart hard and not humbled herself, she would not have been able to hear the instructions that I was giving her. And so as she was able to implement the instructions, and as she was able to say certain things to her mother, and this is a real life story, you all, and my mentee may see this, and this is the glory of her life that she's going through this. But a couple weeks later, her mother passed away. Now, what would it have been if her heart just stayed so hardened? What would it have been if she did not actually implement these strategies? If she did not actually, learn how to love on her mother for where she was at that standpoint? See, a lot of times we go throughout life bitter, but we don't realize that other people are human too. And so when your heart is hardened and you can't get into a humble standpoint, what is God telling you to do to love on that person that has hardened your heart? To love on maybe your mother, to love on your spouse, to love on your children, to love on your ex-husband, to love on the man that you were in a relationship with. What are the instructions that he's telling you to do in this season? And it may not even be to love on them. It may be instructions for you to actually go and pursue healing for what you need in this season. It may be instructions for you to actually step away from all the distractions and the things that you're using to cover up all these voids, and he needs to sit down and pour something into you, but you can't hear because you're so busy being prideful in yourself. What are the instructions that are trying to be given to you? I'm just giving you all this example from a mentor-mentee standpoint, but guess what? God is your ultimate mentor. So there's something that he's trying to say to you that I need you to do in this season, and I want to give you instructions on how to heal this hardened heart, but if you're not humble enough and you don't open up your ears, then you won't be able to hear me, let alone be able to obey. And so the second thing that you have to do is you got to open up your ears to hear, because when you're not hearing, you become disobedient and do what you want to do. And disobedience leads you to more arguments. Disobedience leads you into the hand of another relationship that's not going to regard you, and then it's going to lead you to more hurt. Disobedience leads you to go fulfill your own desires and not see the greater desires and the destiny that's set for your life. Disobedience can cause you to be in an uproar and get yourself out in other areas because you don't want to actually listen and obey. I'm giving you guys an example from a teen standpoint because it's so important, but we can all implement this in our real life, in our relationships. When I allow my heart to be hardened, I couldn't speak life to people anymore. I couldn't uplift anyone anymore. I couldn't even see the good in the man that hurt me anymore, because at the end of the day, although he hurt me, I still wanted the best for him so that he couldn't hurt somebody else. And how can I be able to hear and learn how to position myself to get to the next chapter of my life if my heart was just so hardened? And this is why this is so important, you guys, all right? So if you're following me, comment below. I gotta hear. I have to hear. Because when you open up your ears to hear, then you can get the instructions that you need to lead you to where you want to, where God needs you to go. Open my ears that I may hear a word. Yes, Cherie. So the third thing that I'm gonna give you, okay? First, when you enter into a state of humility, then automatically when you say, God, humble me, forgive me for even being so prideful and haughty in myself. Forgive me for not seeing everyone as a human. But now open up my ears to hear that I will obey and do the things that you have called for me to do in my house, in my home. Sometimes when you're dealing with someone else who has a hard heart, you got to do some strategies to reach their heart. But when you're so stubborn, you don't even want to do some of those things. It may be something as simple as leaving a nice little note for your husband or for the man in your life to just let you know how you feel, instead of just having the cold shoulder because you didn't get your way during the argument. You may have to love on people and love the hell out of them, like my mom says, so that they can now be able to open up their heart. It's easier said than done, but whatever the instructions are in this season, I can't get into this all in this call or this session, but it does, like Melissa said, opens up your spiritual senses and you can hear, all right? So the third thing that you want to have to do when you rid yourself of a hard heart is that after you hear and you obey, then now you can hold on, keyword, hold on, someone put down, hold on to the promises that God has for your life. See, oftentimes we get our heart hardened because we want things a certain way in this moment. But guess what? There are promises stored up. There are things that God wants to give you. He wants you to have prosperous relationships. He wants you to have a prosperous future. He wants you to have he wants to get the glory out of the relationships. But when your heart becomes hardened, you lose sight of the promises and getting to the promise of where he has for you. He's really saying, can you trust me through your process? Can you trust me through your trials? Can you trust me through the hurt that man has caused you to still hold on to the promises that I have for you? No matter how many men that have hurt me, no matter how many men that have rejected me in relationships, can I still trust in the promises that God is going to send me a husband that is going to love on me just like he loves on me? Can I trust him? Or would I allow my heart to become bitter and now start doing things my own way? Can I trust him and hold on to those promises that he said for me? See, oftentimes you get in relationships and there's promises, there's vows that some of you all have made in your marriage. Can you trust that God can even restore your marriage no matter how broken that it is? Can you trust him? Can you trust that he can turn around the heart of the man that has hurt you or the people that have hurt you, even if y'all may not be together anymore? Can you still trust that he can still use that man for his glory? Or are you just going to be bitter and be like, I'm going to tell every woman to stay clear of him because he's going to hurt every woman that comes in his way? No, everyone has to be saved. Everyone has to be humbled. Everyone has to go through this process, you all. Everyone has to go through this. And so can you hold on to the promises that are set for your life? And when you allow yourself to be able to be humbled, to be able to hear, then you start remembering the promises that were set for you. And no matter how the circumstances plan out, there are promises for where you need to be. Giving you guys the example of my mentee, although her mother may have passed away, God has promises for her life. He has abundance for her even as she gets older in her latter years, even as she goes and becomes an adult. He has promises that he wants to fulfill in her. And if she goes throughout life keeping her heart bitter because of things that she should have done, or that the hatred that she had, or all these different things, then one thing she's doing is she's going to hinder the walking into the promises that God has for her. See, we expect life to happen the way that we want it to happen instead of looking at the way that God needs it to plan out for our lives. So you got to go through this hurt, but you got to know that the hurt has a reason. The pain has promises attached to it, you guys. Every pain and hit that comes to your life has a promise attached to it. And if you get so stuck on the pain, if you get so stuck on the hard heart, if you get so stuck on the hurt, you're going to lose sight of the promise. I can't go all into detail of what that promise is for your life, but I know one thing, that the more you hold on to this hard heart, the more you're hindering yourself from walking into your promises and walking into the destiny that you have for you. No one wants to walk around with a hard, bitter heart for the rest of their life. So you got decisions to make. You got choices you got to make. And so here's the thing. If you stay with me all the way to the end of this call, okay, because I thank Lamar and Ronnie for having me on here, what I want you to do is I want you to go to this link and I want you to start your journey. Start your journey to be able to heal your heart. Start your journey to be able to soften your heart. Start your journey to be able to go through these processes and know, how can I work through some of the things in depth that I'm dealing with? And so I want you to go to this link, bit, can someone drop this down below for me, bit.ly/heal Healing Tour 2019. My mom and I have been on tour. We have went to 3 cities. All right, we have already went to Los Angeles. We went to Hampton, Virginia. We went to Arlington, Virginia, and we've been going on tour. And next week we're going to be in March 2nd. We're going to be in Chicago. Then we have Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, and then Atlanta, Georgia. And we're going on tour to bring healing to the hearts of women so they can let go of some of these things and start experiencing the promises that are for their life. But if you don't live in those cities, I still want you to go to that link. And I want you to enter your name and email and take this 8-day transformational series that we have for you to help you bring healing to your hurt heart. So everyone go to that link, bit.ly/healing tour 2019. Yes, Kiwana, Arlington was on fire. So go to that link. Yes, thank you, Natasha, for dropping down below. And if you want to get registered for the tour, the tickets are only $27. It's an amazing time to treat yourself as a woman. And I want you to go there and get registered for the tour. But if you don't live in those cities, you'll see where you can put your name and email down below and get access to the 8-day transformational series that we have for you. So I want you to be able to go there. I want every woman on this line, okay? Everyone watching this to know that, please know that God does not want your heart to be hardened. You were created to have a pure and a precious and a beautiful heart to flow. Even though hurt is going to come our way, that hard heart is hindering you from the things that God wants to do in you. It's hindering you from the people that you need to be touching. It's hindering you from having this prosperous relationship. So please take this step seriously to start learning how to soften your heart and get back to the beautiful essence of who you are as a woman. Because things are going to come our way, but that doesn't mean you got to be angry. That doesn't mean you got to be bitter. That doesn't mean you have to walk around with a chip on your shoulder, being mad at every person and saying the heck with all type of Negroes around you. No. Learn the purpose of the pain so you can get to your promises. And if you don't do it now, it's going to be a time that you're going to have to start doing it, okay? So go to that link. I want you to get registered. I want you to take that series if you don't live in these states. I thank Lamar and Ronnie for having me on here because it's so important that you all learn this so that we can have prosperous relationships. And that's what we do here at Dunamis Women, where we guide women of faith on how to implement exactly what I'm telling you right now to bring healing to your soul, to ignite your power through prayer, to transform your life and relationships, to get more teaching from the kingdom of God so that you can execute your power, so that you can not let your pain hinder your power, but that you can flow freely in it. And so I want you all to get connected. And when you enter your name and email, you automatically get connected with my mom and I because you'll hear from us in our database, okay? So I thank you guys so much for being with me. Please make sure you share this. If you got anything out of it, comment below. If you have any questions, we have 3 minutes, so feel free to comment below anything that you want to say, any words of wisdom. I'm definitely here. Yes, Darnell, thank you so much for being with me tonight. Jamie, thanks for being here. I love all your comments as well. But if you guys have any questions, definitely feel free to comment below. But I'll drop that link and make sure that you guys be able to get there and go and take action to see us and join us in person so that you can bring healing to your soul. What's the purpose of my garden heart in pain? What's the purpose of... Are you trying to say, Sherry, guarding your heart in pain? I need some clarity. I don't know if that was a typo. But what's the purpose of guarding your heart, though? That's actually a really good thing. I have a couple minutes. It's so important as women that we guard our heart. And guarding your heart does not necessarily mean being bitter and angry and saying you're not going to let anyone get close to you, okay? Guarding your heart. All right, Tara Shell, I'll put your email in there. If you can't do it, I'll make sure I'll add your email in there. Guarding your heart means being aware and keen to who's in your life. And I don't want to say not trusting so quickly and easily, but having your spiritual senses on to be aware of the people that are positioned in your life. Guarding your heart means not jumping into conclusions of what you want, but actually saying, why are these people positioned in my life? Before I just take action, why are these people around me? What is it required of me in this season of how I'm connected with these people? See, when you guard your heart, why is everyone putting their email down below? I'm gonna drop your email in the thing, but go to the link, you guys, and put your email in there. But don't delete it. I'll take your emails and I'll drop them in there for there. But I meant to say, go to bit.ly/healing tour 2019 and insert your name and email. But keep your emails there, and I will insert them in for you right when I get off of here. So yeah, I don't know if I said drop your email down below. I'm so sorry if I said that, but I'll make sure that I'll put your email in there, and then I'll delete your email once I get it done. So don't delete it right now. I'll put it in there, and then I'll delete it once you guys get done with this. But yes, it's so important as women that we do guard our heart, that we don't just jump into conclusions, and we don't jump into using people for our own gain and our own purpose, but we really say, what is the purpose of this relationship? You said I'm not trying to do all that work. I will do it because I love you guys. I will put those emails in there for you guys. You guys are making me work tonight, but it's okay. So are the Chicago tickets sold out? Marvelous. I think there's 5 tickets left. I think there are. You better take action. If it's giving you trouble, let me know. But we have reached 50. 50 was the max. I think we opened it up for 5 more seats. So you got to take action like tonight, because yeah, those are definitely going to be gone. Chicago is at its max. So if you have any trouble, Marvelous, comment below your email and I'll email you and try to find a way that you can get some tickets in there. But it's yeah, y'all, they filling up fast. Okay, Marvelous, I'll DM you after this and get your email and try to get you in there if it's saying that it's full. Last time, yes, Tara Show, last time before I get off here, okay, because I'm overtime. The link is bit, B as in boy, I as in indigo, T as in Sam, bit.ly/healing tour 2019. All right, bit.ly/healing tour 2019. Cherie, I'm gonna read your comment right before I get off. It was to be a heart and heart, but what you are saying is so very good, and you need to hear that. Thanks. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yes, that is the link without the question mark. Yes, Kiwana, that is the link. Thank you for dropping down below. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for being with me. Please make sure you share this, and I'm gonna have an amazing night. And come down below and comment with you guys, because I gotta get off. But thank you, Lamar and Ronnie, for having me on here, and I'll see you next Monday, and you all will see my mom tomorrow on Tuesday. All right, love you guys and have a good night. See you all later.